All right, everybody, welcome back to Beans No Ball, episode 28 of Bean Talk. Now, before we get into anything, well, actually, first off, gotta give our thoughts and prayers, our condolences to the everyone impacted by the senseless tragedy in New Orleans. That obviously, the Sugar Bowl was postponed, will be today, but obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with everyone involved. And now talking about this. This will be the last Bean Talk for this season. Once the playoffs hit, we're gonna go back to our format from last year, just giving a preview of the games from that week. So instead of getting it too heavy, we'll just get it just leave Bean Talk for a little later. Maybe we'll see when we pick it back up in the off season. But without further ado, Christian, the Pro Bowlers just came out. Cowboys got a lot of them. We only got one of them. I guess let's just get right into it.
Yeah, so honestly, I'm not gonna lie, these Pro Bowl, these starters, they're not as questionable as they've been for the past couple of years. They're obviously, a little eye openers there too, but for the most part, it's pretty much even there too. So let's start off with the quarterbacks there. On the NFC side, Jaden Daniels, Sam Darnold, Jared Goff. AFC, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson. I don't know about you, but I think it's pretty even when it comes to the quarterback situation there. I think this top three quarterbacks. These are probably the top three quarterbacks in the NFC as we speak there. I know you could probably make your little case about Matthew Stafford there, but he's been, inconsistent
No,
for the,
I mean,
the majority of the season.
I wouldn't like try to sneak them in. I mean, look, by far these three guys are the same ones. Stafford maybe's been top 5 in the NFC, but these are the top 3.
Yeah, and then on the AFC side, I think this is a no-brainer. Josh Allen, which is probably looking like the runaway MVP favorite right now, but neck to neck behind him with Lamar Jackson.
Are going to be the top 3 MVP voting.
They are there. They are there too. And with Joe Burrow, there's pretty much nothing to explain that we've pretty much already been seeing what he's been doing all season with that struggling Bengals team.
No, I think with me, the only thing that I'm going to have maybe somewhat of an issue going into the running backs now. Okay. Saquon, without a doubt. Obviously, you get him in there. Gibbs. Maybe Monty would have made it if he didn't go down with that injury. But going into Josh Jacobs, I know he's probably deserving. You could even say Bijan maybe would have been deserving. But in my own eyes, call it some bias. But I think Kyren definitely deserved to get in here over Josh Jacobs. We were just talking about a little before. Their
stats are pretty
stats in general. They're pretty similar.
Pretty neck.
My only thing and what I was saying in the past game, I would definitely give Kyren an edge, and he gives. I mean, if sure it's running backs, are we just gonna focus on the actual run game? But in game plan and everything, Kyren's pass attack. I mean, his effectiveness in the passing game really gives to me an upper edge on Josh Jacobs. But at the end of the day, these three guys are also deserving, so I'm not too mad at it.
Yeah, they're pretty neck to neck between Josh and Kyren, but we're looking at it. I think Josh Jacobs, he does have 14 less carries. I believe so. No, 14 less yards on 21 less carries. But again, it's not really much of a big difference there. Yeah, they are neck to neck. They are neck to neck when it comes stat wise there too. We could see Kyren as a what's the term they have in the Pro Bowl, substitute, or is it? They have a specific term for that.
Yeah. Or
they have one of those.
Let's hope let's hope we take it all the way to New Orleans and we don't have to worry about that.
Okay, pal. And then on the AFC side, I think this is another pretty decent over Derek Henry, Joe Mixon, and Jonathan Taylor there. Despite Joe Mixon missing a couple games, what he's been doing on that Texas offense, that's pretty much one of the bright spots on that team. JT, also the leading powerhouse on that Colts team. And then Derek Henry, I don't think we need to explain any further there too with him there too. And now moving on with the receivers. Oh, excuse me, had a little lag there. Moving on with the receivers. I think there's a lot of questionable ones on this one.
You're pretty happy with what you're getting there. You're obviously CeeDee Lamb back in there, which I mean, hey, with Cooper Rush throwing him the ball,
exactly.
Just obviously missing a couple games here at the end, like we talk about this too, maybe having a down year for CeeDee standards, but still, it's a Pro Bowl type year.
Still you're top 5 in receiving yards. Didn't have Dak for the whole season. Literally is the whole offense. Sure, it is a down year compared to what he's putting up the past couple of years, but without a doubt, this is still another Pro Bowl type season for him.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously the other guys going into, obviously, hey, Amon-Ra finally got his Pro Bowl selection. He's gonna be happy about that. Terry McLaurin, nice to see for him. And obviously, who was the other one? Justin Jefferson. Obviously,
Justin. Yeah.
How could I forget that? And I could say Puka, but with that injury that he spent time out, I'm not even gonna get into if he played the whole season, I definitely think he would have gotten in. But he was held back through that, and these 4 guys were the better ones. Now on the AFC side, Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Zay Flowers, and Jerry Jeudy. Now I think one sticks out that probably shouldn't be here. I mean, Zay Flowers, in my eyes, probably could have gone to someone else, but I mean, not too many complaints here.
Yeah, honestly, receiving side there. I mean, you could also make the case for Judy there not being there, but I mean, he's just been phenomenal so far. What he's been doing for the
I
past couple
like
of weeks
Judy
there
being
for
there,
the
if I'm
season.
being
No,
honest.
yeah, I love Judy. I love Judy. He's been having a really great role, within
Also
the
think
whole
about
Browns
it with the
offense.
quarterbacks he's been getting to get the production that he
Exactly,
has,
exactly. Yeah.
fully deserved in my opinion.
So yeah, I know there's a lot of small complaints I've seen about Judy there, but he definitely has a strong case. Now, before moving on, we did skip the fullbacks. We just got to throw that out the way there too. Obviously, NFC side, Kyle Juszczyk. I think no one can argue about that one. Probably one of the best fullbacks in the league. And then on the AFC side, the Ravens, Patrick Ricard. Obviously, these two powerhouses has been really
Which
influenced
I
for
mean,
both their teams.
these are the
except
only
for the
two
Niners.
fullbacks that anyone
Yeah.
really knows in the league. So who else
Exactly.
is going to vote for? But I mean, hey, it's still nice to show some love for the fullbacks. I mean, far and away, even though they're the only ones anyone knows, they're known because they're probably the only two like pretty decent ones in the league left. So obviously, every year it's probably going to be them as long as they're still in the league, and much deserved for them. Now, I think we could just probably. I mean, it'll get too extended if we talk about every single one. I think let's talk about your Cowboys that made it. I know, obviously, you got your special
We got
team.
Rico,
Oh.
Devontae. I think that was a special. Yeah, Tyler Smith also made it. I'll just pull it right now.
Devontae,
Have it
Aubrey,
all.
of course.
Yeah, Aubrey obviously at the kicking obviously did too. Where is it at there? Yes, here it is. So Tyler
it was-
Smith, that's the one I really want to
Yeah,
get to first.
5
Tyler
or 6,
Smith,
if I'm not mistaken.
it's 5. It's CeeDee
Yeah.
Lamb, Tyler Smith, Kevontae Turpin, Brandon Aubrey, and Michael Parsons too, which I'll get into Micah in just a bit right now there too. But Tyler Smith, I mean, from all his pass attempts, he's only allowed about 10 pressures, which is really good from what we've seen about Tyler Smith since we drafted him. I know there too. He was, I think, believe around a second, third round pick prospect coming into that draft in 2021. Of 2022, excuse me, but he's been looking phenomenal on both sides. I know they're switching up from like the guard to the tackle position. They wanted to see how he's been there too, but he's been phenomenal. Obviously, one of the best linemen in the league so far, really making a name for himself after the departure of Tyron Smith, and that's basically why we got for his replacement there. And then Micah, he's been missing 4 games. Yeah, I believe it was four games that he's missed with us this season there. He's still put up double-digit sacks again there too. I believe right now at the years, I think he's at 10 or 11. I have to fact check about that once again. They're one of the fastest players to reach 50 sacks in just I believe 50 games, in less than 50 games, 60 games there too.
Yeah,
But he's just been having another phenomenal.
He was
Yeah,
behind.
he broke it against the I think the Panthers game. But again, I can fact check on that too. But obviously, he's having such a milestone this season, despite missing all those games there too. Now, obviously, being a really game changer on that defensive side. Already mentioned CeeDee Lamb, Kevontae Turpin, fastest man in the league. Really nice to see some shine into him. Really, I'd love to see some shine into him. In the return position. Obviously, we haven't had a good returner since I think Lucky Whitehead, and that was ancient history when we were in like middle school there too. So it's obviously some bright spots in the special teams. And then Brandon Aubrey, I don't think I gotta explain to the. I think his name speaks for itself.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, hey, despite a pretty rough season, these are a bunch of bright spots.
Yeah.
I mean, just goes to show. I mean, it's just a funky year. You got a lot of pieces.
Yeah.
It just nothing did materialize, and little by little, injuries here and there just wasn't able to be for the Cowboys this season. See if they could get it and run it back next season. And I see the other end of the spectrum, a team with only 1 Pro Bowler, and look, we're in the playoffs. Jared Verse. Now, obviously, I could say my thing about Puka and Kyron, but the one thing I will say, Braden Fisk was absolutely snubbed. I mean, if it wasn't for Jared Verse, which Verse probably will get Defensive Rookie of the Year, but you could also make a big shot for Braden Fisk. Right now at 8 sacks, he tied the franchise record for the Rams for a rookie. I mean, can't say enough about that. I mean, I definitely think the FSU tandem should have been going together. Very likely will be a substitute, in my opinion, going to the Pro Bowl. But, I mean, I can't say enough about Jared Verse and just these two guys in general. Even though Fisk didn't make it, I mean, definitely revolutionizing this D-line for what it's worth. Rough start. I had a lot of bad things to say from, you get a bunch of pressures, but not enough tackles. At the end of the day, they've been fixing it. They've really been growing into this defense. And at the end of the day, I mean, hey, Verse is getting his recognition. Really wish Fisk would have gotten it too.
Yeah, so like we said, there's obviously going to be a lot of questionable snubs we got into there. And I can make a case for JSN, who I've really been high on. There's a lot of the other guys we could make there too, but just remember
in the wide receivers looking at...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Positions are stacked. That's the thing. The
Exactly.
skill positions, you can make
That's why
arguments
it's
for just
hard.
about anyone. It is.
Exactly.
But you gotta just really narrow it down to the best of the best. And at the end of the day, with skill positions, aside from Zay Flowers, I think they got it right this year, at least at receiver.
Yeah, like we said, you can make cases for everybody, and obviously they're gonna go with the Warriors. And I finally found out that they're called alternates, so maybe they'll
There
see
we go.
that it's alternates. That's what it was there. So maybe we can see these guys as alternates. I know hope to see Kyrie in there too. I can make a case for Jay Lou there. Maybe he could be an alternate there at the cornerback side there too. But aside from Pro Bowls, I think this is probably one of the most decent, even out Pro Bowl
Definitely better
lineups
in
we've
the
seen.
past 2 years.
Exactly, for the past couple of years. And now, why not to close it off with the clinching and seeding scenarios? Clinching off with the final game of the season. Now let's kick it off with the AFC side for the first team, the Baltimore Ravens. They're going against Cleveland on their last game here, and they can clinch the title with a win or a tie, or Pittsburgh losing, which I think, the Ravens, I think they got the pretty much one of the better
Yeah,
scenarios
going
coming
against
into
the
this one.
Browns, you probably expect. I mean, we see the line. I think they're 18-point favorites, one of the biggest
Jesus.
lines we've seen all season. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you could absolutely see them. That, I don't know if you already mentioned, kind of spaced up, but for the 3 seed, loser of this one. Hey, if Ravens lose, Steelers win, they'll end up catapulting this one back down to the 5 seed. So that's going to be the difference here. Unless we talk about now going down into the 5 seed. If the Ravens get it done, they win the division. Now we got another scenario for the Steelers and the Chargers. Now, if the Steelers win it, they got the 5 seed. They're easy. But if the Steelers lose, Chargers need a win against the lowly Raiders, and they could jump them for that 5th seed and dump the Steelers into the 6th, which, considering they started 10-3, it would be very disappointing for the Steelers to end up in that spot.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned, or you mentioned it not that long ago about the Steelers. I mean, I think it was me. 10-3, and you just have a bucket shitter these past couple of weeks. I don't know how you explain it. You pretty much had the division on locks. I don't know what is it with Tomlin. Pretty much gonna repeat myself.
Which let's consider. Yeah, I mean, if they do lose to the Bengals, which one of the hottest teams in football right now, to lose 4 games to end the season heading into the playoffs, it's a terrible sign. Which, if you end up with the 5 seed, you at least maybe, going against another struggling team in Houston, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, and now keeping on track with the Bengals, they're 8-8. Don't have a seeding position yet there too. They still need to clinch a playoff berth. Now they're
just getting into the whole 7 seed scenario.
Exactly. This is pretty much the whole thing. So for the Bengals to have a playoff berth, they need a win. With the Denver loss against KC, we'll see about that since Carson Wentz is getting the start. But let's not forget Week 18 Carson Wentz from last season.
Of course, and not only that, the Chiefs are already going to play around and probably even throw in their practice squad players in general. I don't even know the name, but practice squad quarterback will be in for some plays. I'm expecting probably Carson Wentz to only get the first half, if we're being honest.
Yeah, so that game's pretty much going to make it up there, and then they also need a Miami loss or tie within the Jets there. So that one's pretty much this or that, nonetheless there. But I think the Denver game.
It's straightforward. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, just just go down in order. Easily, Denver wins, they're in. If they lose, Miami's next in line. If they win, they're in. If they lose, leaves just a perfect scenario for Cincy if they beat the Steelers. But they need a lot to help, which, Miami, no Tua, gonna look a little hard, especially because of how Huntley looked last week against the Browns.
And the Dolphins, all they need to do is win, and Denver needs to lose. Looking at it, they pretty much have the second easiest clinching scenario outside of the Ravens. But like we said there with KC,
considered no Tua and going against. Look, the Jets defense. I know what they looked like against the Bills last week, but at the same time, they could be wanting to play spoiler in this game.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna expect a lot of teams to play spoiler, but like you said, a Tua-less Dolphins team, and then a no-starter Kansas City team. Like we said, this could go either or, both ways there too. But the AFC side, it's a little bit more compact there. Now, moving in with the NFC side, with the clinching scenarios. Now, the 2 seed, it's already locked up with the Philadelphia Eagles. That just leaves the 1 seed and the 3 and the 7 seed left to lock up. Starting first with the Atlanta Falcons. Now, Michael Penix, we've seen him already. He's been looking good. Don't get me wrong there. For them to clinch the NFC South, now it's just between them and the Bucks, and it's looking pretty neck to neck. They need a win, and Tampa needs to lose against New Orleans, which is probably not going to happen.
Exactly. Now, we probably expect the Bucks. And look, last week, that was the scenario. They controlled their destiny, but the overtime loss against the Commanders is what probably going to end up derailing this season. Penix gave it his all, but at the end of the day, Jaden Daniels was too much. And yeah, that scenario, like you said, they need a win and some help. Bucks control their destiny. And in that same scenario, we look at my Rams, where whoever comes out of this one, looking to see who ends up getting the 3 seed. Now, only the Bucks would be in line if they do win and lock up the South. The Rams need a win against Seattle in a game I will be attending, so let's hope with some backups. Jimmy Garoppolo has already been confirmed to start that game. McVay's probably gonna give a lot of reps for the backups for all the other backups. We expect to see Blake Corum a lot in that run game, maybe Whittington in the pass game. But a win in this game for the Rams, they lock up 3 seed. A loss and a Tampa win gives Tampa the 3 seed, Rams down to the 4. Or if Atlanta wins the division, they get the 4s outright.
Yeah, and then finally closing off, we're just gonna put these two teams together since it is the same scenario. The Lions and the Vikings. Now this is the tiebreaker for the 1 seed or the 5 seed. Whoever it's the 5 seed, right? Whoever loses this game.
5,
yeah. Well, for the 1 and the 5. So whoever wins 1 seed, home
winner
field
gets
advantage,
one,
they
loser
got
gets
it.
5.
Winner gets 1, winner gets the 5, and this is really
a
crazy.
14-win team on the road.
A 14-win team on the road that's probably going to be hosted by your Rams is something
If
we're not
they
going to
lose,
see. Yeah.
I'm still holding out hope that the backups can beat the Seahawks, which they're playing for that 10-win season, so it's looking unlikely. But we can lock up the 3 seed, can avoid them for a little bit. But like you said, it's kind of looking likely that we end up dropping to 4.
Yeah, and look, we say this every year. Whoever gets the 1 seed is pretty much locked in for playoffs, but we never know. Who never knows there? But between these two teams, I think it's safe to say whoever locks up that 1 seed in the home field, I think they're probably going to go all the way.
NFC Championship at the least.
Yeah, without a doubt there. And I think the Vikings do have a little edge here just because, they have their whole team surrounded them. And we know what the Lions with their injuries, specifically on that defense, which is probably going to deteriorate their chances there too. But like we said, this is a nice, tough NFC North battle. A nice, great NFC North battle we're finally going to get once again there too. Still not decided. I'm not going to say who's going to win so far just yet because I'm still stumped on choosing the winner there too. But this is going to be one of the games here. And, like we said, 1 of the 5, 1 of the 2, one of these teams, they're going to host it. And a 14-win team is going to be on the road in the playoffs.
Absolutely. And you and me both, we're both stumped. I'm still considering too. A lot of these, as we're saying, either really tough games to call or a bunch of backups that who knows what's going to end up happening. But also, one last scenario before we close this one out. The Commanders and the Packers, 2 teams vying for that 6 seed. Now with the Packers control their destiny to at least keep that spot. But that loss to Minnesota bumps them down to the 7. Commanders now just need to beat your Cowboys and they'll hold on to that 6 seed. If your Cowboys pull it out and the Packers beat the Bears, which let's be honest, likely going to happen, the Packers will jump them, take that 6 seed, which Rams take care of business. These 2 will determine who heads to SoFi in 2 weeks in another game that I will be attending. I already picked up my wild card tickets.
Yeah, so let's hope your luck in the stadium actually, hopefully pays off once again for the playoff time there too. But I think that's going to wrap up the clinching scenarios there too. We wrapped the Pro Bowls, clinching, playoffs. I think this season we got a lot of great on our hands there. I know everybody's going to be really, really waiting for that Detroit and Vikings game there too. I know I am for sure there too. But like we said, this season panned out pretty differently than what we've expected there. But we still got one more game, so we can save our techs for next week.
Oh, absolutely. And like you said, we'll leave any actual predictions. I mean, obviously, I don't know what you thought. You were probably thinking, but probably no parlay. All the players rested. All everything. Gonna be a little hard to get into it. So,
bet the overs on Cooper Rush right now. Bet the overs on Cooper Rush.
Bet the overs on Jimmy Garoppolo. But
oh god,
yeah, that's gonna do it for Bean Talk for the season. At least for the season, we'll see what by when it comes back around the off season. We'll figure that out a little later, but be back for the week 18 recap, and once that's over, go back to our roots from last season, getting into some previews and finally filling out our full bracket. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you like and subscribe, and we'll see you right back next week.